Are you sure it started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like I can't take that chance. Okay.
Trust you.
This is November 22nd, and this is our mentor meeting, and we are discussing, I have it on the PowerPoint, the assessment for Module 2.1, which was about developmental learning needs and high incidence disabilities. And I was telling Brittany that as I was going through each disability, I could see our kids and see some of the things that applied to them. That was actually helpful.
Yeah.
And then you went to a professional development about grouping kids. And then I came back and said, I don't even think you can really group 2 kids with autism
Yeah.
and be successful.
Yeah, it was very interesting because they want to put these kids in the same group, but they even said, like, if you have, like, the lower level kiddos with all of them in the same group, and then you have, like, the higher level kids, it's harder for them to, like, distinguish between them, and then the lower kids kind of just sit there a little bit more compared to the higher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it was also interesting because when they do that, it does give the opportunity for the kids that are struggling to communicate with each other, but with our kids, they don't have expressive language as well as much as
Yeah. And even receptive
kids.
language.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got, so I was trying to think of how my quiz questions talked about this. In my quiz, I tried to focus on the disability categories because that was a lot of stuff that was new to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then how each disability gets broken down. But really what's important is knowing, like, if your kid has, we actually didn't do emotional disturbance. That must be, it's one of the categories, but I haven't learned about that one yet. Or does it go in specific learning disability?
No, it's different. Emotional disturbance is its own. I don't know if it matters with the categories here, but
Yeah, there's 14 categories
Okay.
that can qualify you for services, and that's one by itself. But anyway, so the autism, I guess that was the one where I feel like we have a lot of experience with kids with that diagnosis. And even some of them, I've seen their IEPs, but some of them also have other
other health impairment because ADHD is under.
Yeah, they have something else with it. And then I was thinking of a couple of students in particular that I'm thinking, like SLD is that our one friend
Yep.
has that, and I'm thinking you suspect there's something else, and I'm thinking, God, there could really be, you could have a lot of things going on, which makes it really hard to teach them what they want us to teach.
Yeah. Well, and then you were talking, I know we talked about it the other day, is you were saying how, autism is typically paired with something else.
Yes.
You said, was it ADHD and then like maybe
Yeah.
OCD or possibly?
Yeah, it's in my notes, which we don't have to go through that because it's a lot.
You have so many notes, it's amazing.
I may not have written it down, but yeah, like it may actually be in the ADHD one that it. But yeah, like they have all these other things going on. It almost feels overwhelming to think about how you help them.
Yeah.
And which is why it's so frustrating, and probably why a lot of people are like, why are you doing this? Because it is frustrating. And then even today, having a student having crazy behaviors,
Big emotions,
and but yet we still have to go sit in a gen ed math class and make 10. It was kind of crazy. But anyways, we can talk. I don't know if there's anything. I'm gonna make a list for us to talk about later about all the ones that have the comorbidities or whatever. It must be in my ADHD. ADHD has a lot of psychiatric or whatever. That may not be the right word. Yes, psychiatric disorders that pair with it. It often pairs with learning disability or a psychiatric disorder like anxiety, depression, oppositional defiant. But I do feel like autism paired with ADHD or OHI. But I feel like with autism, it's so complex that I feel like the autism would mask a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it just depends on the kid and like the spectrum it is, because I mean, there's people that have autism that are genius, like literal geniuses. So, and then you have kids that are, or people that are nonverbal and still working on like functional living skills.
Yeah. So like you have this characteristic of like having trouble following, I don't know, your communication with somebody. So that could be ADHD, that could be autism, that could be a lot of things. I guess that's where the psychologist comes in, and we leave that to them. Right?
Yeah.
But the hard part is a lot of times we don't know all, like, you don't have all of that data, or you don't have time to sit there and pour through every single report she does, which would be nice if we could find a way to know all that, but that's hard. But yeah, I made my quiz and you looked at that, and Brittany got an A+ on it, of course.
Tested myself.
Some of the things that I think that I need to learn more about, I would like to look into more of the SLDs. Like, I'll show you my notes on that, and then we'll be done, because we could really go forever talking about this. So for SLD, I hope that we're both in this. He said we were. There were all of these like little categories, like specific word reading.
Oh, interesting.
Specific reading comprehension. And I know there's another SPED teacher, Harper, that I talked to about, because like a lot of their students, she's more of like a resource teacher. Yeah. So I think some of hers have these specific things in their IEP, and I'm going to try to go to one of those meetings in December. But like, I was just looking at these definitions of like what it is in their disability, like what they have trouble with, and it made me think of our friends that struggle with like the numbers and what is it that's making them do that, because right now all we see is autism, but it would make sense that some of that is in there too. So I'm gonna look into more of that. Maybe. So I think that was it. I think we're done. Yay. Signing off.